Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a genuinely fascinating evolution of an AI tool you probably thought you already had completely figured out, Google's NotebookLM. We're going to start with this real sense of dread felt by tech journalist Manur Faisal, who was worried that NotebookLM was, kind of losing its soul and turning into this bloated Gemini BookLM. But then we're going to look at the exact moment a really simple, messy spreadsheet test completely flipped that perspective upside down. It's an amazing story about unexpected intuition from an AI, and I can't wait to get into it.
Here is a quick look at our roadmap. We're covering the skeptic's surprise, peeking under the hood, looking at a messy grade sheet, and some professional traffic data, exploring working through data, and finishing up with the future of NotebookLM. Let's jump right in.
The skeptic's surprise.
So we begin with a problem that is honestly way too common in the tech world right now. AI tools keep losing their charm. An AI impresses us right out of the gate, and then, almost overnight, it gets bloated with all these unnecessary features that nobody actually asked for. The author hit the nail on the head with this quote. NotebookLM was built on a brilliant focused concept, grounding everything strictly in your own uploaded sources instead of just making things up. But with the recent updates, there was this genuine fear that it was abandoning those roots just to become another generic do-everything chatbot.
The contradiction here was literally glaring. Think about it. The core identity of a research assistant is supposed to be reading your sources and answering questions based on them, right? But suddenly, the new reality involved opening a terminal and running Python scripts. It just didn't make any sense. Like, why on earth would you add code execution to a reading app? As the author pointed out, it felt like a classic case of a solution in search of a problem, just adding a feature because the underlying model could do it, not because any user actually needed it.
Section 2. Under the hood. How it works.
To really wrap our heads around this pivot, we have to look closely at the June 8th update. What exactly did Google inject into the system to cause such a massive shift? Well, they fundamentally changed the architecture. Every single notebook is now equipped with its very own secure cloud computer. This creates an isolated, sandboxed environment made specifically for writing and running Python code. Under the hood, this whole shebang is powered by Gemini 3.5, paired with a system called Antigravity, which lets the AI plan and drive task execution. And sitting right on top of this virtual machine, over 100 curated software skills. Basically, pre-built capabilities the tool can just grab mid-task whenever it figures out a job requires them.
And this heavy-duty tech stack? It's not just for show. According to Google's own benchmarks, this new architecture boasts a massive 78.2% win rate in advanced web research and source discovery compared to the previous system. But, benchmarks are ultimately just numbers on a page. The real question we need to answer is how it performs when it actually hits the chaotic, messy reality of our everyday data.
Section 3. Case Study 1. The Messy Grade Sheet.
To put those huge claims to the test, the author crossed the threshold and handed the AI a totally realistic, intentionally chaotic challenge, a sessional grade sheet for 36 university students. We all know the absolute nightmare of dealing with human data. This spreadsheet was deliberately littered with weird, non-numeric text entries. You had absent students marked with an A, cells just casually saying not attempted, and one particularly tricky midterm score that simply read 14 retake. The big test here was to see if the AI would actually reckon with this human mess, or if it would just quietly paper over the errors and crash like most standard tools do.
The first surprise? A brand new feature where NotebookLM essentially started thinking out loud. Before it even jumped to a final answer, it walked through its entire data cleaning process, clearly stating its judgment calls. For instance, when it hit the fully absent student, the AI audibly flagged him and pulled him completely out of the grading curve. Why? It explained that leaving a string of zeros in the dataset would unfairly drag the entire class average down. That's pretty smart.
But wait, here is the absolute climax of this test, the ultimate, unprompted aha moment. One student's total did not add up correctly in the original spreadsheet. Because her midterm was entered as that text string, 14 retake, the spreadsheet's standard sum formula had just silently read it as a 0. It literally shorted her final grade by 14 marks. NotebookLM caught this. And it didn't just spot the discrepancy, it fully explained the mathematical mechanism behind the error, reconstructed what her true total should have been, and then autonomously recalculated the entire grading curve based on the corrected figure. It did all of this without ever being prompted to look for errors. No way, right?
Section 4. Case Study 2. Professional Traffic Data. So that was a personal grade sheet. But what happens when you really scale things up? Moving to our second case study, the author threw a much larger, professional challenge at it, a full month of XDA software traffic data. We are talking about a mountain of information here. 147 articles published across 2 weeks, spanning 23 distinct columns tracking active sessions, visit durations, device splits, geographic breakdowns, you name it. Normally, just diving into this to find a single meaningful trend demands an entire afternoon of tedious, manual digging.
Yet again, the AI's data cleaning instinct just immediately shined. Right off the bat, NotebookLM flagged a discrepancy. It noticed that the mobile and desktop traffic percentages in the dataset simply did not add up to 100%. It then worked out completely on its own that the missing 2.7% was unattributed tablet or other device traffic. It even warned the user not to read the mobile and desktop shares as if they represented the whole picture.
And it goes so much deeper than surface-level summaries. The tool successfully surfaced the top and bottom performers, ran complex week-over-week comparisons, and analyzed a 15.9% drop in total sessions. Crucially, it correctly attributed that drop to a softening of typical mid-tier reach, rather than just blindly assuming it was due to lower content output. It was in there executing actual mathematical correlations, not just eyeballing the trends.
Section 5. The verdict. Working through data. Having seen these case studies play out, what does this code execution update actually mean for our daily workflow? Notice the incredibly sharp contrast in this evolution. The old version of NotebookLM was great at quietly describing the numbers that were already sitting in your data. But the new version, it's actively computing those numbers. And more importantly, its true unprecedented power lies in this new error-catching instinct. It's actively finding mistakes, silent logic errors, and hidden trends that you literally never ask it to look for. And honestly, the beauty of this update is just how seamlessly it fits into your day. You feed it a messy dataset, the AI automatically uses its sandboxed Python environment to clean and compute the numbers, and then you just export the results as a clean, typeset PDF, a chart, or even a mind map directly within the Studio panel. You don't have to bounce between 3 different apps to get the job done. It completely transforms NotebookLM from a simple reading app into a remarkably robust computational assistant.
Section 6. The future of NotebookLM.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about what this incredible leap in capability actually means for you. This isn't just about Python scripts running in some invisible cloud. It's about fundamentally shifting our relationship with our own data. It turns NotebookLM from a tool you merely read with into a tool you can genuinely work through. Which leaves us with one final provocative question for you today. We all have chaotic spreadsheets, rushed reports, and messy datasets that we rely on all the time. What unprompted errors, hidden trends, or silent mathematical mistakes might NotebookLM catch in your data? I highly encourage you to feed it your most frustrating spreadsheet and witness this unexpected intuition firsthand. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy analyzing!